Hi, this is my review of the left-handed Telecaster kit purchased from DIYguitarkits.net. As you see, it comes with everything that you need to build a Telecaster yourself. Got your output jack, pre-wired control panel, decent bridge, 2 ceramic pickups, pick guard, cable, individually packaged hardware, strings, neck plate, machine tuners, and instruction guide. The headstock is not pre-cut, so you have to cut that yourself. I'll start off with what I found probably the most surprising thing in this kit. I've purchased a few kits in the past from other vendors, and this is the first one that I've ever seen that comes with a complete instruction guide really on how to do everything in the kit. How to finish it, what kind of sandpaper to use, really everything. It goes into depth, really how to set up the guitar, which is pretty impressive. Truss rod adjustment, string height. These are things that you don't find on a typical guitar kit. These are the things that you end up looking up and searching for. Wiring diagrams. So I find this to be incredibly useful for a beginner builder. If this is your first build, this is good to have. Personally, I find it good to have anyway, even though I've built quite a few guitars. So I normally build Telecasters from scratch, but with the coronavirus, the lumber store where I normally buy my wood is actually closed. And I normally limit my kits to hollow bodies or something a little more, I don't want to say complex, but that really isn't convenient to build here in my shop. So I went ahead and purchased this kit. So far, my initial impressions on this kit are very positive. One of the things you'll notice with the mock-up is that the bridge, there's a bit of a gap between the bridge and the pickguard. That cannot be helped. That's actually right where it's supposed to be. That lines up with the holes. And if you look at the your 12 3/4 for the 12th fret, it comes out right about where it's supposed to be. So 12 3/4 lines up with where that bridge is supposed to be. If you want to change that, then you'll need to move that. You'll have to route this up a bit more to modify that. If you do route that, you need to make sure that you either get new springs or modify your, not springs, your set screws for the saddles. Otherwise, you're going to have, a big piece of screw hanging out there. That's one of the quirks. I think that's probably the only real quirk that I found. The only thing really worth mentioning. Like I say, the only other thing to keep in mind with this particular kit and others is that the headstock is not shaped. Taking a look at the body, this is actually a fairly heavy body. I don't believe this is basswood. To me, I think it's too heavy to be basswood. But the finish is really nice on it. I would say that this is probably sanded to about 400. There's no way that's 220. That's really nice. It's got pretty decent grain on there with some stain and maybe a little artistry. You can make it look a little better. Same thing with the back. Again, sanded nice. Not seeing any blemishes. So that is what I would consider to be a perfect body. No complaints all about the body. Measurement wise, this kit is more a Squire specs versus American Telecaster. So whenever you look at the, the body width, so the thickness of the body is 1.64 inches. An American Telecaster is 1.75 inches. Whenever you look at the depth of the control cavities, you're at just under 1.5 inches, whereas normal routing is 1.5 inches. This is just under. The bridge cavity is the same. The neck cavity is just over 1 inch. And the neck pocket is 3/4 inch, which is standard. Well, standard for like a Squire. I think standard neck pocket for an American Tele is 5/8 inch. Standard bridge routing is, I believe, 7/8 inch. So that's something to keep in mind. The big thing you're going to notice with this kit, and the particular reason why I bought this, is because there are no screw holes drilled for anything. So that's something to keep in mind with this kit. You're going to have to drill these holes yourself, which isn't a problem at all. It's really easy to line everything up properly. Not an issue. And you've got incredible instructions that'll tell you how to do that if you don't know how to do that already. So that's something to keep in mind when you're building this. One more thing, and this is pretty important to me because I tend to I put CTS pots on everything I have. CTS pot will not fit in this opening. So you're going to have to widen that out if you want to put CTS pots in. I believe Bourne's pots should fit in there. But, that'll need to be done. The other thing is that if you want to move the bridge forward, you'll need to route this out a little bit as well. Not a big deal, totally doable, but that's the body. Moving on to the neck, I find the grain patterns on the neck to be actually really nice, especially the headstock. It's nice, it's smooth. I don't see any issues with it. So again, pretty standard neck. It's 56 millimeters at the heel, which is pretty standard. The fret edges are smoother than I expected, much smoother than necks I've purchased in the past, especially from a kit. No real sharp edges on it. I'd say the radius is probably an 11. If I had to guess, I didn't put my my gauge on it, but I will. And you're going to get the plastic nut, so you probably want to change that. Okay, let's go over the hardware. You can see all of the hardware comes in individually, I don't want to say packaged, but compartments. So it's easy to figure out what you need. It's not all one big pile of screws, which you get in other kits. I was pretty impressed by this. The output jack is already installed. All you need to do is solder it up. That was pretty nice. I use the recessed electro socket jack, so I won't be using that, but I think that's a nice touch. The tuning machines, that's probably the worst part of this entire kit. They're hard to turn. This is something that you normally would change anyway with a kit. It's totally worth the $40 or $50 to replace those. That's a decent, heavy neck plate. And then the bridge. So the bridge seems to be the standard bridge that you get on almost any kit. I was surprised. I was expecting something thin and, I don't want to say flimsy, but it's a bit heavier than I expected it to be. Seems to be nice. Seems to be pretty sturdy. I would put that up against the standard Fender bridge that comes with a Squire. So no issues at all with that bridge. This was a huge surprise. The control plate and the electronics. There's a good bit of, I don't want to say friction, but resistance. These turn really smooth. The knobs turn smoother than the CTS pots that I'll be putting on here. The switch itself, I would say it's robust. It's very deliberate, which is nice. I mean, it feels really, really solid. Not what I expected at all. And I certainly didn't expect it to be pre-wired and attached. All you need to do is attach the pickups and the, well, obviously the ground and output jack, but this is a really nice touch. Not what I expected at all. So kudos to whomever did that. That's really nice. Really nice touch. And these do fit, you know, obviously you saw inside the control cavity perfectly. So now we'll check the resistance of the pickups just to see what kind of, you know, output they're going to have. These are ceramic pickups. They appear to be potted. You know, there's little flakes of wax and things on them. Again, that was somewhat of a pleasant surprise. I don't think anybody expects pickups in a kit to be potted. So, you know, thumbs up. Resistance on the bridge pickup, about 6.62. Could be, you know, the fluctuation could be the way I have that set up. That's probably a little lower than I normally wind. I typically wind my own pickups. We'll put these in and see how they sound. I may rewind them. I like to go a little hotter, but, you know, not too bad. My impressions of the pickups, you know, pretty good. So you've got your plate down here. So that should ground out fine. The bridge pickup, the grounding and everything looks fine on it. Again, ceramic. We'll go ahead and hook this up. And we'll see what kind of resistance we have from the bridge. Not the bridge, the neck pickup. Apparently I can't talk today. I'm trying to do this with one hand and I'm struggling. Okay. So the neck pickup, we're getting roughly 5.59, 5.6. So there you have it. My overall impressions of this kit, I give it a 10 out of 10 for guitar kits. I don't think that I've seen a better guitar kit than the one I received. This is really very high quality. The instructions are really, I find those to be helpful. If you're just looking for a puzzle to put together, then you can buy a different kit. I think this one will probably give more of an experience for building your guitar than something that all you're doing is putting screws in it. So, you know, this is really nice. It's better than what I expected. It was $109, $30 shipping anywhere in the US. It took about a week to receive. The buying experience was great. I talked with Jeff, the owner. He answered any of the questions that I had. You know, my main question being, it doesn't have the screw holes pre-drilled, because I did not want that. He verified that it was in stock. He verified everything for me. Any emails were replied to very quickly. I overall very impressed with this kit. Honestly, I may buy another kit just to do it from DIYguitarkits.net. If the quality of the other kits are anywhere near as good as this, I think that presents pretty good value, for relatively little work. It doesn't bother me buying a body already built. It's a little cheaper if I do them myself, and I can pick whatever kind of wood I want. I can match up the grain however I feel like, but really the hard work in building a guitar isn't cutting out the body or cutting out the neck is hard, but cutting out the body is probably the easiest part of the entire build. And with this particular kit, most of the sanding appears to have been done. It's almost, like I say, paint or stain ready. So that takes, hour or two away from having to do that kind of prep work, and you can do other work that you might need to do on it, whether it be routing out the control cavity, make it a little wider, same thing with the bridge cavity. So overall, I give this kit a 10 out of 10, and I give DIYguitarkits.net an easy 10 out of 10. As I said, I'm looking forward to ordering. I'm just going to order another kit because I may build a Les Paul. I've built Les Pauls in the past, ordered kits from other places for those. We'll see what these guys have. I highly recommend them. Give them a shot.